Hi, in this webcast, I'm going to be reviewing how to make a reading outline using your textbook. This is the main type of homework that we'll be using this year. I will be covering basic strategies for taking reading notes using the SOCR method, or soccer method, for critical reading. First, why are we doing reading outlines? This may seem tedious or time-consuming or just busy work. But rather, we're going to outline to help provide some structure as you read your textbook. I want you to help develop your skills at thinking about what's important from your reading content. We'll be reviewing and practicing some guided reading strategies and help you develop your reading skills so you'll be able to use them in any subject matter, not just history class. First, please set up your paper correctly. Use any piece of binder paper. You'll put your name and period on the top of your paper. If you don't label your paper, I won't be able to give you credit. Next, label your paper with the chapter, section, and title. A lot of homework sections look alike, so it'll help me to know that it's chapter 6.1, section 1. Throughout the year, we're going to be using the Cornell format, both for in-class notes as well as textbook reading. You're going to want to draw a Cornell line. This means making a line up and down your paper larger than the normally given margin on binder paper. It's about 1/3 of the way over on your paper. If you ever start a new chapter section of reading, please use a new sheet of paper. For example, you could use this entire sheet for chapter 6.1. If you were going to outline 6.2, please do it on a separate piece of paper. This outlining process is not something I made up. It's based on critical reading strategies, and this version is represented by the acronym SOCCER. Thought this ball might help you remember that. The S stands for survey and highlighting the text, highlighting when it's appropriate to do so. The O stands for outlining. C is for using the Cornell margin. And R is for review. Let's take a look at how this works. A lot of people don't realize that before you read, you want to just survey and highlight your textbook. Take your fingers and just skim throughout the pages and see what this reading's all about. Pay attention to the headings of your book, subheadings, and don't skip the photos and captions. Read the author's introductions. Just a minute or two of skimming might tell you an awful lot about what you're being asked to read. Don't highlight your book, though, unless you own your own book. But if you do, highlighting can be extremely helpful. In fact, there's ways you can color code your highlighting. For example, if you put your headings in orange, it'll draw your eye to those headings. You can put your subheadings in blue, so you know what you should be outlining. A key to many readings is topic sentences. You might choose to put those in green. I generally choose yellow, the softest color, to highlight small details in the book. And you can even use pink to highlight vocabulary words. It's up to you, but those are some suggestions. However, remember, don't highlight unless you own your book. Based on your quick skim, think in your head of 3 questions you have about the reading. These questions are called free questions, or we'll call them PQs. Go to your paper, and the first thing you're going to write is 3 pre-questions. They can be any questions, make-up questions about what you think you want to know about this chapter. Why are you doing this? The purpose of having questions in advance is to help you to be an active reader. This way, when you're reading the chapter, you're looking for something. Your brain is searching for the answers to the questions that you made up. Next, your outline will use conventional outline headings and labeling. For now, make sure you're only taking notes on the right side of the Cornell line. Use your book's headings as Roman numerals. Use the book's subheadings to be your A's and B's. For our purposes, make bullet points, or you can use those Roman numeral points to indicate details that you may want to notate. Remember, you're only writing on the right side of the Cornell line, and we're leaving this side blank for now. In soccer, the next step is O, outline. When you're taking notes, do not copy the full sentences. Do not copy the book. You have a book. You're simply taking outline notes. Things I do want you to do are 1. Write legibly. Next, look for topic sentences. Read those topic sentences as a guide to what the paragraph's about. Read a paragraph, then stop and ask yourself, what were the key points I just learned? Write those down, but abbreviate. You do not need to write complete sentences. Make your own code. There are plenty of possibilities of what you can do. Here are just some examples of abbreviations. As you do it, you'll get better at it. When you've finished reading your section, you should now have a complete and very brief outline on the right side, written in conventional outline format. Again, all on the right of the Cornell line. What it means to Cornell is to use your left-hand margin to pull out key terms. For example, in your outline notes, where are the key terms that look like they could be on a test? Generally, these were bolded in the book, people's names, terms. You're going to want to write these key terms on the left margin, right next to where you took the notes on that term. The next step in Cornelling is to write questions. If you were to make a quiz about your notes, what questions would you ask? Write your questions on the left, next to where your outline notes would have the answer. Pretend you're the teacher's assistant writing questions for a class of students. What questions would you ask? Finally, your outline is almost done. You have on the right side of the line a brief outline. You have on the left side of the outline some key terms and questions. For our purposes, before you turn it in, I'm asking my students to highlight the headings and subheadings. This part is maybe helpful for you, but it certainly is helpful for the grader. As I go through, I can check the book and I see that you've notated your headings and the subheadings. I'll be checking to see that you have a brief amount of notes underneath each one. The final step of the soccer's reading process is once you have outlined your notes, you now have a condensed version of concise notes from your assigned readings. With these notes, now you can use your Cornell key terms and questions to quiz yourself. On the left side, you'll see key terms and questions. On the right, you have the answers. You can quiz yourself or drill with a friend. A lot of people use a piece of paper and cover up the right side of the Cornell notes, and they look at the questions and key terms on the left, and you can slowly pull down that paper to see if you've done it correctly. Congratulations! If you've done your outline correctly, these are the pieces. Remember to put your name and period in the top corner. I've hidden it here. Remember to label the chapter and the title. Remember, you have 3 key questions at the top, pre-questions. This is making your mind an active reader. Remember to use the headings and subheadings. You've highlighted them orange and blue so that your reader and grader can see them easily. On the Cornell line, there should be key terms and questions, and all the terms and questions are lined up next to their answers on the right. And if you've done it correctly, your note should be very short because you've not written in full sentences. You've used bullet points, phrases, and abbreviations. You can review these bullet points, but you should have your full name, period, a labeled section, 1 new page for each section. Most students have about the front and back of a paper of outline notes for each chapter section. You have a Cornell margin. On the left, your key terms and questions, and a very easy set of notes that you can study with. And guess what? Just by going through this process to create your notes, you've already, by reading, been analyzing and studying. I hope this short screencast has helped you to understand how to easily and simply make outline notes from an assigned reading. But if you're still unsure in any way, I don't blame you. Remember, you can always get help. Don't panic. Give it a try. Bring in your efforts, and your instructor can give you help. Just ask. That's what your teachers are here for. All right, go get started with your reading. Good luck!